John David Duggar and his wife Abbie falsely claimed that their plane's October crash was caused by a double engine failure instead of running out of fuel. The son of Jim Bob Duggar, 32, and his better half, 29, released a statement to Celebus on Friday claiming that double engine failure was the reason behind the collision that occurred on October 29 at approximately 7 p.m. An official from the Humphreys County Sheriff's Department told The Sun that John David simply ran out of gas. Any type of plane crash or emergency landing is terrifying, but it's precisely for situations like these that pilots undergo extensive training, the two men said. We are incredibly grateful for the divine intervention, as none of us were hurt during that incident last October. They continued. The kindness and concern shown to us by so many is greatly appreciated. Beginning, Abbie and John David Duggar are talking about the plane accident a few months after it happened. John David called emergency services because of the aircraft's substantial damage, even though there were no casualties. He claimed that when his Piper P-30 jet's twin engines failed, he was forced to make an emergency landing in a field in Waverly, Tennessee. The sheriff's office, however, provided a different narrative. They reported that a family from Arkansas ran out of gas and crashed into a field. The Sun claims that the six-seat aircraft only flew for 5 minutes before crashing. The crash was confirmed, and the 911 dispatcher confirmed that John David was the pilot and the caller, according to the local sheriff's department. According to authorities, the other passengers were probably the couple's family members, including their 1-year-old daughter Grace and the other traveler, Abbie. Yes, something dreadful. In their statement, the pair pointed out that while emergency landings and other aviation disasters are terrible, pilots are trained for just such circumstances. The engine is not operating. The 32-year-old reality TV personality reportedly blamed a double engine failure for the catastrophe. Around 7 p.m. on October 29, the incident took place. Fast travel. According to The Sun, the jet, which had room for 6 people, was shot down after only 5 minutes in the air. Reports state that the aircraft was owned by Medic Corps, a charity organization that deploys teams of cross-trained rescuers to both foreign and domestic mass casualty situations. Medic Choppers, LLC was its registration number. The group has nothing to do with the Medic Corps. John David is the director of business at Medic Corps, while Nathan Bates, best known for hosting the television show Bringing Up Bates, is the director of operations. Following their silence over the horrifying plane crash they survived in October, John David Duggar and his wife Abbie have finally made a very personal and emotionally charged admission. Well known for counting, the couple recently talked about their terrible experience and how it has affected their life, their religion, and their future goals as a couple. They are known for their regular appearances and unshakable faith. The exclusive story provides insight into the moments of faith, resiliency, and terror that characterized that terrible day. The plane crash is a life-altering event. Tragically, during a routine flight in October, a veteran pilot called John David Duggar and his wife, Abbie, perished in a plane crash. When the accident occurred, John David, a private pilot with training, was flying the aircraft. The sad turn of events that transpired during what was supposed to be a normal trip surprised and appalled the couple as well as the aviation world. It was rather amazing how quickly the pair survived the event, which took place in a rural area. Both Abbie and John David have expressed gratitude to God for keeping them alive, citing a combination of lightning reflexes, training, and good fortune. They both claimed that the secret to their survival was their religion, which kept them composed and concentrated throughout the chaos. The career of pilot John David Duggar. John David Duggar's experience as a pilot had a significant impact on the incident's conditions and the couple's survival. He is well versed in the nuances of flying and the associated risks due to his considerable aviation training. Despite this knowledge, the crash was still a startling and terrifying incident. John David recounts the events as they happened, including his attempts to regain control of the aircraft as it began to behave strangely in the air. Despite his best efforts to control and troubleshoot the aircraft, a loss of control led to the disaster. Throughout the entire incident, he maintained his cool and made an effort to safely land the jet. Although the collision was inevitable, it wasn't as severe as it may have been because of John David's expertise. The couple survived because of his quick thinking and his training in emergency protocols. John David credits his background as an aviation pilot, which includes practice for emergency landings, for his ability to maintain composure under duress. In an interview, John David said, "The training starts to work the moment you need it. but I truly believe it was God's grace that kept us both safe. Accepting religion. The story of Abbie Duggar. Given her lack of aviation knowledge, Abbie Duggar's worry was reasonable when the plane began to shake and malfunction. She remembered the chills she got when she watched John David try to steady the plane. Abbie claimed that despite her concerns that she may never see her loved ones again during those moments, she felt strengthened by her faith. In their interaction, Abbie talked about the variety of intense emotions she felt, especially after the accident. Even though I knew John David was trying his hardest to keep us safe, during those moments my thoughts strayed to our loved ones, our faith, and the possibility that this would be our last stand. However, I felt God's presence despite everything, which calmed my heart. As the jet landed, Abbie remembers feeling a great sense of helplessness and fear, but she also remembers a wave of serenity that came when she realized they were still alive. I knew God had spared us for a reason, and I had to trust that whatever happened next, He would be with us, stated Abbie. After a brief but intense search, responders were able to find the crash scene and save the two people. Next steps. Rest and reflection. After the tragedy, John David and Abbie have had to endure a period of intense physical and mental recovery. Even though the two suffered some injuries, they were extremely fortunate that they were not life-threatening. Abbie was scratched and bruised, while John David was unsteady but otherwise unharmed. In the weeks following the accident, the couple put their physical recovery first, but it was harder to get over the emotional and mental scars. John David and Abbie talked openly about the psychological and emotional toll the disaster had on their relationship. The experience made the pair even closer, which bolstered their love and faith. Abbie freely admitted that she had a lifetime fear of flying as a result of the catastrophe. I've always trusted John David's flying skills, but this experience shook me in ways I didn't expect, the woman added. But we've been talking through it, praying about it, and learning to trust again. Seeking support from family and neighbors was a crucial aspect of the couple's rehabilitation process. Due to their renowned familial closeness, the Duggars banded together to provide all the assistance, including emotional and spiritual support, to those impacted by the disaster. Both John David and Abbie stressed how important it was to rely on loved ones during this trying period. A faith test on the significance of religion in healing. Throughout their journey, John David and Abbie have both used their Christian faith as a way to deal with the terrible incident. They claimed that having a close relationship with God provided them with the strength and perspective they needed to overcome it and bounce back. According to John David, he prayed for guidance and insight while in the air and felt God's presence, which kept him calm and concentrated. I believe God was in control of everything, even when it felt like we were losing control, he said. I know He was watching over us. Abbie stuck to her convictions and repeated them in the middle of all the chaos. When you face something as frightening as a plane crash, all you can do is trust that God has a plan for your life, she said. We are both so grateful that He spared us that day, and we know that our lives have a purpose. The pair also talked about how community and prayer were really helpful to them when they were recovering. Numerous members of their fan base and church group wrote supportive notes and prayed for their recovery. This assistance has been crucial to their journey because it has helped them rediscover the wealth of love and care in their life. Expecting what's to come. Despite the fact that the plane disaster altered John David and Abbie's life, they have continued to pursue their goals and make plans for the future. They have expressed gratitude for God's second chance and hope to use their story to encourage others to live spiritually and with purpose. John David has made it clear that while he will still fly, he will do it with greater caution and consideration in the future. He is still committed to flying, but he has a greater sense of responsibility and a newfound respect for life. Abbie is trying to get over her fear of flying, even if the accident has left her cautious. Although there are many surprises in life, the couple has found comfort in the idea that they can confront them head-on with each other and with religion. We've been through something most people can't imagine, stated Abbie. However, we are aware of our increased strength, stronger in our love, stronger in our faith, and more confident that God will always be with us.